Greetings and salutations, it's Subculture Talk. I'm your host, Pat626, and I host Subculture Shock Sunday nights on Twitch, where I play lots of fantastic music, including Sword Tongue, who are my guests in the virtual studio tonight. How's it going, guys?
Yay!
Hi,
It's going great.
So we've got Jennifer Wilde and Gaetano Maleki here in the virtual studio, and we're going to talk about a lot this evening. We've already talked about a lot.
Yeah, we have.
We're a bunch of Gabatrons, so this is going to be a lot of fun. So, first of all, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, oh, it's my pleasure. So, the thing that I always like to start off these interviews with is what I like to call the supervillain origin story. So, if you could both kind of tell me a little bit about how each of you personally got into music, and then kind of how the band came to be.
Sure.
First.
Okay, I'll start first.
Yeah.
So I've been a singer for most of my life, and in college I was going to San Francisco State in the 90s, in the early 90s, and I had a class where with a friend who wanted to do a charity caroling session at Children's Hospital in San Francisco, and I was like, that sounds great, lovely. Well, it was only me and this other girl that showed up, so it was just three of us trying to carry this whole thing, and these children were like in hospital beds, and it was so sad, like, and so we got through it. But the other woman who joined us was Suzanne from Love Spirals Downwards.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And, and we had a mutual friend in college, and so and then later on I ended up meeting up with her and Ryan Lum at a cafe, and we were talking about that story, and like, oh my God, can you believe, like, we're sitting there, just the three of us trying to carol, and she was like, yeah, but I said, yeah, but we sure sang a meme Jingle Bell Rock, and we're like, jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock, and we're both singing together, and Ryan's like, hey, do you think you could come over and listen to a track of ours? And I was like, yes. Yes, I can.
Oh my goodness.
And so I went to their apartment in San Francisco where Ryan had a little 4-track, and and he played me the music, and Suzanne had gotten into like a block. She couldn't think of what to do for vocals. And so I went in there and just, I started singing along with it. And so I would sing a line, and then she sang a line. And so that ended up being, I think it was Sunset Bell, that one. And so, yeah. And so then that we ended up doing that and just singing kind of the lines without any lyrics. Well, I was super excited, right? Like, so I get home and I'm like, and I go home and I found a poem that I had written to my the first woman I ever fell in love with. And I adapted those into the lyrics for the song. And now up until this point, Suzanne had never she did the Lisa Gerrard thing.
Yeah.
Where she was like, she was just like, just syllables, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
I admire anyone that can do that. I can't do that.
It's an art.
Yeah,
So.
I can't do that.
It's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, no, it's not the easy way out. So it's,
No.
It's like scatting. Scatting seems like it should be easy. It's not.
No.
So anyway, I like call him up and I'm like, because there's no email at this point. I feel like I'm speaking from like ancient times.
I didn't even know you had a connection to Love Spirals Downward. So no, I didn't. And I'm freaking the fuck out right now because I love them.
It's
yeah.
pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, so
then I called him up and I'm like, I've got these guys, I've got these lyrics, and so then, and it was like perfect. Like it was like one line was like my line, I journey to and there was her Valley of the Moon. And so we were like singing it back and forth, and I was like, woo-hoo. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get to join them on stage and blah, blah. And nothing ever came of it after that. So, I mean, which is fine. Like, they were on their own journey and that kind of thing. And I just was like kind of a flash in the pan. But the other thing that happened out of that is that as I was sitting there, the first session after we had sung over this song, he was just kind of showing me this looper pedal. And so I was like, and then I start like poking. And so I was like, da, 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 da. And then I was looping again. And then I was looping stuff over that. And at some point I was like just fooling around. I look over and I could see Ryan like pressing buttons. He's like, and that ended up being another song.
It's the Animal House,
It's
James
like
Belushi tripping over and over.
Yeah.
No, keep going. So.
I literally just like, so it's like a cloud of sound. And most of that, like there's an original version of that song. I gotta look up what the name of the song is. Anyway, like my name's on the credits, but there is a song and then they remixed it. And the remix is a lot better actually, because it's just got a little bit more of a beat but most of the the instrumental, that's just my voice in a cloud with all of these layers.
So you can't see my face right now, but I keep like it looks like I'm about to eat my microphone. My mouth keeps getting so big.
So that was and then for a very long time I didn't do anything. And then I went on with my life. I got my degree in computer science. I went and worked for a high-tech consulting firm. I traveled all over the United States and also Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Hong Kong in '97, right before the handover. And
so jealous.
Anyway, I met my first husband, my son's father, and we got married, had a house, kid, and all of a sudden I was like freaking out. I'm like, I need to do something creative. So I went and I don't know if you've heard of the book The Artist's Way.
Yeah.
So I did The Artist's Way, and because I started out as a visual, like I've always been a painter as well. So I thought that I was going to do The Artist's Way and start coming up with images and start painting again. I just wanted to get creative. But then I started coming up with song lyrics and I was like, well, great, I guess I'm doing music now. So I found my collaborator in the project Liquid State and Mark Fassett, and he and I did an album together. But it wasn't quite what I wanted. It was more like singer-songwriter, acoustic guitar kind of stuff. And I've always meant to come back here to this place. And so after that, and then the breakup of my marriage, I was like, then I realized that what I really wanted was to have a romantic partner with whom I could create music. And people were like, you really should just like consider other people, or like you're being unreasonable, or, any number of things. But I was like adamant that this is going to happen. This is how I
do what I want.
Yeah.
No, this is how I wanted to set up my life. And then the night that I
wait. We'll get right there.
Okay. So we'll pause right before.
That's her origin story.
Yeah. Wow, like this is getting complex.
Yeah, mine is much less spectacular.
Flashback. Well, you let her go first, okay?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. But basically, I was a heavy drug addict by the age of 12, and by the age of 16, it was not becoming tenable anymore, and I landed myself in the hospital. And I needed to figure a way out really quickly from that lifestyle, because I probably would kill myself. And my whole life, music is always, even from a very, very, very young age, I can still hear my mother playing Bruce Hornsby in the Range, and Paul Abdul and Santana and all this stuff. My mother grew up seeing like Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison.
So were you a straight up Paula Abdul fan or a cold-hearted snake Paula Abdul fan?
Oh, I just wanted you to be able to tell me if you'd love me forever.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, we can be friends. We
mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. And,
straight up is the only thing straight about me.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
And basically, I just on my 16th birthday, I picked up a guitar and decided, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I threw myself in a room with extremely advanced musicians, of which I was not, and I forced myself to get on their level. I had no friends. I basically sat in a room for just 10, 12 hours a day. All my school grades just went down, flunked, and basically by the age of 18, I was playing bars in San Francisco, all up and down Polk Street, Castro, Tenderloin area, and I had my first recorded album at 18 of my first band, Blame It on the Sex. Yes, I know. And we were terrible. We were terrible individuals. And basically, I had a child at 20. I kind of stopped cold turkey doing music until I was close to, I want to say 27. Had another group, One Eyed King. We made one album. We were working on our second. And I was getting kind of disappointed with the level of commitment that I was not receiving from others, because I take, practice and music very seriously. And I was in the middle of I was 1 week into a divorce, and I walk into a burlesque show for my friend, and in walks her, and mind you, at this point I had like hair down to my waist and everything, and the line was,
oh, so yeah, he walks in, and on the way in, just so you know,
yes.
like, so this burlesque show was in Pacifica, which is about how many miles from here? It's a drive.
Yeah.
And my sister-in-law at the time was a burlesque dancer, and she was like, I want to check out this show because I might want to perform at it. It's brand new. Okay. I was like, okay, well, I have my son tonight. She's like, and her son is the same age. She's like, oh no, I'll have my husband watch the boys. And I was like, well, I'm really tired. And she was like, well, I'll drive. And I was like, and I'm broke. And she's like, I'll pay for you to get in. So I was like, okay, I'm going to this show. And on the way,
fate decreed, you have to
pretty
go.
much.
And on the way in, I was like, I think I'm ready to start dating. It had been a while. Like, I bopped in and out of dating. It was like it was kind of disastrous, but I was like, and she was like, well, what kind of person? And I was describing basically Gaetano. and we get in there, and I'm not usually into long-haired guys. And he walked in, and I was like, who's that guy? and my sister-in-law, there was a lot of drama surrounding this divorce. And she was like, that guy's trouble. Stay away from him.
And basically we talked at that show, and then talked at another, and here's sword time.
So wait a minute. Has no one ever learned that guy is trouble, don't talk to him, means that guy is the guy you should go talk to?
And I'm not really like, I'm at a point in my life where I don't want drama, but it was one of those things where we just chatted, and then, very quickly when that drama came up, I was like, hey, so I've heard this, and he was like, call me. And then, and we had a long conversation about what was happening, and he's a very private person, so there was like, there was a lot
of speculation, and I'm not want to talk about my personal life. That's no one's business but my own and the other person involved. Everybody else could fuck off. So.
I'm like a drama free. I try to be a drama free zone.
We're both parents, so we kind of that sort of, we left all that stuff behind a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So and basically that was the origin of us. So
I think the first thing that I did was you were like, oh, I'm working on, I'm just fooling around on guitar, this Down song.
Yeah, this one of my favorite bands, Down, they did a song, Where I'm Going, and I was just, it was a 2-guitar song, and I was trying to transcribe it just to 1 guitar, and I somehow figured it out and made it work, and she was like, oh, hold on a second, and then she started singing
I recorded the vocals over it, and he was like, oh.
Yeah. I was
like,
yeah. She got my heart.
Gotcha.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Ken Magerman's in the chat, and
Hi, Ken.
So Ken did a hashtag meet cute on that story.
Oh.
Also, DJ D42 in chat, giving you the big purple hearts. So.
Hi.
From eMpTyVeeTV.
Yes, from eMpTyVeeTV.
Which we are going to talk about tonight. Also, Ken wants to point out that we forgot about MC Scat Cat when talking about Paula Abdul, and that's a crime. So
that's a deep.
Unforgivable.
That's a deep one right there.
Yeah.
I might just have to put my tender heart in a blender for that one.
Ooh, nice.
So not only was that story adorable, but there's a very, I talked about the fate of that night, but it's very interesting that you had one person being like, oh, hey, I guess I'm doing music now. Mm-hmm. And you being like, oh, hey, I need to do music, but I can't find anybody with a level of commitment. And meanwhile, Jennifer's over here like, well, all right, if I'm going to do music, I want to just be involved with someone and we can make music our life together. And that's such a gorgeous story.
Thank you.
Yay.
Music is something, I mean, we're obviously we're pretty goofy if you can't tell already, but when it comes to artistic passion, with her in particular, there's no one else who has so much passion for what she does. She's involved in so many different musical things all at once. I mean, my brain would explode. I have trouble just staying on one thing, and it's it is amazing to see someone with a level of dedication. Now, I've never, not only because we're together, but I've never actually had such an easy experience with someone. I mean, when we first started making music, we were both very nervous for different reasons entirely, but within minutes we were like, oh, there's something actually really here.
Oh, this is gonna work.
Yeah. It was pretty apparent.
That brings up, how did you decide on the music that you ended up with? This very luscious guitar sound and ethereal vocals.
Well, thank you. That's a lot of it. I think that we started with your guitar.
Yeah. So basically, through no conscious effort, I had mentioned to you, previously off camera that I pretty much, I mean, if you look at me, like I was some sort of metal dude, I pretty much played nothing but like death metal and metal my whole life. And I'd gotten really tired of it. It had become so formulaic and I can do it without thinking. And I grew up listening to very lush tones like David Gilmour from Pink Floyd.
Oh, speaking my language.
Yeah, Deftones, Cocteau Twins, those Swerve Driver, especially Swerve Driver. All those guys had really, without knowing, had really given me a sound that I was never able to really reach. And with her, I was like, I want to do something that really, truly challenges me. And I just stripped away everything that was my strength and threw myself into like a beginner's mindset again. I'm like, okay, I'm doing something unknown. And I was using a lot of looping at the time, live looping, because I don't like overdubs. I'm one of those guys, if I see a group or an artist live and they can't recreate what they did on a record, I'm very bummed inside. No offense to artists who do that. That's just me, how I am personally. And when it came to your vocals,
so when it came to the vocals, I really am inspired by artists like Lisa Gerrard, but also Brendan. I always want to say Brendan Fraser. It's not Brendan Fraser.
You know what's hilarious is
Brendan Perry.
Yeah, but that's where my brain went too. I immediately thought Fraser as well. I was like, no, that's not right.
Hey,
that's not right. That's Encino Man.
That jawline is goddamn attractive. Okay?
I mean, okay, fair. Yeah. Oh.
Yes.
So like I've had like, profound spiritual moments listening to Peter Gabriel, especially I'm influenced,
woman after my own heart.
Yeah, so I'm heavily influenced by the soundtrack for The Last Temptation of Christ.
Okay.
Like I've literally had like spiritual moments, submerging myself in that music. So I've always loved like Middle Eastern music.
Yeah.
There's an East Indian woman from the UK, Sheila Chandra.
Yeah.
And Sheila Chandra is, if you don't know her, it's she's amazing. I had her music playing when I was giving birth to my son, but she's got this weird combination of of Middle Eastern Indian and also UK kind of traditional folk music. So it's she does a lot of great vocals. But then also Tori Amos is one of my biggest
definitely
in terms of lyrics. So if you put all of those in a blender, that's kind of like where I'm at. And really it goes back to the origin of being with Love Spirals Downwards and, just doing on that track. And I was like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken how many 30 years to get to holy shit.
And we went through a couple revisions before we really arrived on our sound as well too. And something else that we also kind of failed to mention, I, in particular, am, and I know Jennifer is to a degree. I'm very heavily. I don't normally like to use the term trip hop, but very heavily into artists like Tricky, and his way, and obviously Massive Attack, and all the way that they approach music layer by layer, and it's very careful the way they do it. That really added to the way we approached constructing music. There's a really specific way it's done. And on top of all that, with our influences, it really gave us that specific sound that we have.
I would echo that too, just because like I came up in the rave scene in the 90s and, you know, listening to Dub Tribe Sound System and acts like that. And they, you know, just that kind of layering and building, the way you build a song and build a journey, you know, combined with the fact that lyrically speaking, I really love to tell stories, but I like to tell like, not just like, so I went down to the bar and I met a girl. I like to tell stories that are like, kind of like paint pictures of dreamscapes. So I try to keep things a little more, a little abstract in that way so that you can kind of put yourself in or put your own meaning on that,
not so
on that story.
Nose. Yeah.
So you gave me a lot to work with there. So I'm gonna have to like put some of it aside for a second, because what's really interesting is that you've talked a lot about how, you know, it took you 30 years to get there, but I also think that that's why even you haven't been out as Sword Tongue for too very long, but all of your releases have this maturity to them that you expect from a band that's been doing this for a lot longer than the two of you have together. It's like a 10-year-old band. And I think that's because it's the culmination of a lot of different experience. Like, you both have a lot of musical experience and a lot of passion for this music that you just haven't had a chance to do yet. And it sounds like, you know, you're like, when we all first get into a band in our like early 20s, we're just like, you know, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And now you're able to approach it with this level of consciousness that comes from having made a lot of mistakes in life.
Yeah. And to balance on what you were saying there too, just a really quick side, because we prefer to do everything live exactly as it sounds, the way we have to construct songs, especially with the looping, they have to be very careful that we don't paint ourselves into a corner. So I mean, we start loops almost at the beginning of songs. It leaves, unfortunately, is very nerve-wracking. It leaves very little room for error. And there's been some pretty good bungles while we're getting ready for shows coming up. I mean, practice is very tricky to do everything we do, but that's, you know, we want the way we have to construct things is really specific, and definitely from all of our music experience has absolutely landed itself on that. And I'm glad you picked up on that, because that is a really big thing.
Well, I mean, there's an intentionality to everything. Like, there's nothing out of place. There's nothing that it's like, all right, why did they go in that direction? Because obviously a lot of thought has gone in to each piece of it.
And that's a lot on you.
Oh, thanks.
So I used to always arrange and write everything for every group I've ever been in. I absolutely despise arranging at this point. So I get the easiest job, which is I just walk in, pick up my guitar, and I start playing. And she's like, "What's that?" And
but he's like the Riff Master 5000. Like, he just like I'm like, okay, I need to answer these emails, and he's like, well, I'll just noodle on the guitar. I was like,
all right.
Okay, now you've already written part of a song. Like, now I'm anxious because, you know, I have to like do lyrics for these two. Like,
so we've gotten your supervillain origin story, and now we have your supervillain names. We have the Arranger and Riffmaster 5000. All right. Together they form Sword Tongue.
Sword Tongue.
Apart we are weak, but together we are unstoppable.
Yes, exactly.
No, your response to that, Jennifer, should have been like, "Who you calling weak, fool?" But
she let me slide. So
the other thing that you brought up that I kind of wanted to get back into, because if you've ever watched my other interviews or my other shows, you know that I am like the English nerd who happens to host a radio show. So talking about the lyrics for a minute, I was specifically in preparation for this interview, I was going through the Into the Sun EP.
Yes.
Which was your most recent release, as far as I could tell.
Yes.
And I noticed that there was a lot of there was a lot of repetition of imagery involving like light and darkness. Like, you know, the first song, of course, being Into the Sun, but then riffing on Twilight. The Illusionist also, you know, kind of dealing with coming to someone in darkness and then creating false images. So I was wondering, like, is there a reason why that sort of theming is very attractive to you as a lyricist?
Yes, definitely. When I was in college, I took a class called Split Brain, Split Culture, and what it was. San Francisco State had this wonderful thing called the Nexa department. So when you go for a degree program, but you have to choose one area of study for your electives. And so I chose the Nexa department for mine because each of them were taught by a humanities professor and a science professor.
Oh.
I've always been, I've been extremely good at math and science, but I've also been an artist. And I have always struggled with this whole, like, why am I able to straddle both of these? And I meet so few people who can. So until I got to this class, and in this class, the whole assignment all semester was to pick a dichotomy and explore it. And so I picked science versus art. And so it really helped me kind of break down that kind of dichotomous thinking, but also carried it with me. Like, so I can take a dichotomy and kind of look at it from both sides. So with the darkness and the light, I think I was, when I started getting back in, I've actually gotten back into painting as well. And in my first gallery show, my partner, Jackie Shelley, who's a wonderful watercolor portraitist, she was like, I want to do a gallery show for International Peace Day. And I was like, sure, that sounds fine. I should be able to generate some art around that. And I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. And I was like, how about we do peace/no peace? And I did, like, you know, I have a piece that's hanging in our house that's like a little girl that's cowering, and her shadow is going up the wall, and it becomes this demon. So it's like, and so, you know, through visual art, I started thinking more about the light and the dark. And we had a couple of shows that were like that, where we just, you know, kind of showed both sides of that coin.
Right.
And I was trying to come up with an artist statement for the gallery show. And it was really about, because I think that I can be a pretty light person, you know, like as we're talking here and that kind of thing. But I deal with a lot of anxiety and depression, and I've had that kind of hanging over me.
Get out of town.
No way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I got, you know, a couple of years ago, I got as far as making a plan.
Yeah.
And that is a really scary place to be at. Yeah. So it's like, and I was able to pull out of that. But it's like, what keeps bringing me back into that place? And I really feel like, and I express a lot through art, and it's not just like, you know, kind of for my own therapy. I really feel like that we need to acknowledge and make friends with the dark side of us in order to, and see the beauty in that, in order to come to a place of balance.
You know, it's so wild, because last week I interviewed Eric Oberto, and he said the exact same thing. Like this need, when you're at your darkest place, to recognize that there is still beauty in that, because it's yourself, and you can't love yourself unless you also love those dark parts of yourself.
Absolutely, 100% ditto.
Yeah.
So.
And we have a lot of conversations, you know, about the psyche and about like issues like with our kids and things, and it's like, you know, and it goes back and forth, and that's something that's a constant conversation. And I've never actually had a partner who I could be so real with and so honest. Like, I always had to like hold back some of that, because, you know, I didn't want to worry the other person, or have that be overreact, or they would just laugh it off or whatever. Like, but I feel like now I'm in a place where I can really acknowledge and explore that in a way that can kind of, you know, bring more balance personally.
Yeah, and also, you know, on further on that note too, when we had written the majority of Into the Sun, with the exception of Echoes was really kind of the precursor to that album. COVID hit, and we were only 3 shows in as a group, and then it just everything stopped. And then at that time too, for those that don't live in California, the whole damn state was on fire.
Yeah.
And there was a day where it literally blacked out the sun.
The sky, I walked out and it was like
blacked it out.
It was like, Blade Runner 2024. It looked like that.
You never want to compare your life to Blade Runner 2024.
Right? That's what happened with the second half of Twilight.
Yeah.
We were just coming off of the, and here's like, full disclaimer, like I am like a flaming hot liberal. But like, I believe we should care about people. And that's where I fall on the kind of the political spectrum or the societal spectrum. But like, so we came off of like an election in 2016, and then there's more unrest at the, during 2020 and how that was going to go, and the nature of like the direction of our country, and like, so there was a lot, and then the pandemic and the fires, and so there was a lot going on with all of that.
Yeah, and we were trying to what we didn't realize is, because we were staying really busy, but we were both suffering pretty badly through it and not exactly taking it well. And it didn't really manifest itself until like we were in the middle of doing this album, and it created honestly a lot of material to talk about, because there was a number of conversations back and forth, and in particular the song Somnus. When I had come up with that riff, I think I had mentioned something about sleeping, and then she echoed that really hard, and it's just like, sometimes you just want to fucking sleep, man. You just don't even want to stay awake.
You just go to sleep and never wake up.
Yeah.
And I had so many days like that, that it was just like, and I channeled it all through, okay, like, taking a step back emotionally, like lyrically, what do I want to do here? How can I capture this? Like for Somnus specifically in the beginning, it starts out, the world is dangerous. The world will harm you. And then at the end, it ends up with, your mind is dangerous.
Yeah.
Your mind will harm you.
Yeah.
So it's like so I was able to kind of like dig down into that feeling, but also work through some of it to let go of some of the charge.
See, I picture in my head like the scene where you both just finish playing that song for the first time and look at each other, and one of you says, "Babe, I think we're depressed."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a weird, I mean, and I'm sure you know this as well as a fellow appreciator of music. What people might describe as depressing or dark music isn't actually, to us, the listener, is less dark and more therapeutic. You're like, I get in this space sometimes, and it's okay to be in that space.
Well, it's cathartic.
It's cathartic. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And as we become older and more wise, big air quotes for that, we understand that nature, and that's why I wouldn't, I don't look at our music as necessarily, we say dark music for dark times, and that's kind of our little slogan, but in the same token, that's very open to interpretation is when you need that, because sometimes you just need to be in that dark space.
That time, like a song, can be fleeting.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of what I mean, is it's like a chance to, that's why it's like, hey, I think we're depressed, because it's a chance to drain that poison out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much so.
It's absolutely right.
Yeah. That's why we smile as much as we do. Is we're definitely, when the more in touch you are at the dark side of things, the more in touch you are at the light side of things. It might sound corny, but it's really the truth.
Well, something that Ken pointed out in the chat earlier is that he's not sure he's ever met a non-goofy goth person. And I think I think that what you just said on that is very true, of like, if you're exploring these feelings, but then you're not dwelling in it, you're writing the songs, you're performing them, and that gives you the chance to get them out, then you're not weighed down by it.
Yeah, and that's, it's, as we've discussed, we have in future plans, we've kind of, not saying it out loud, have set a date for when we're going to start on new music in the future, and
we can't say that out loud.
No, I don't want to say anything out loud yet. Okay, got me.
How easily Quay can.
Once we had finished Into the Sun, the album, I basically said I'm going to hold off on writing any new music until August, or start working on any songs until towards the end of August. I've been stockpiling tons and tons and tons of music, but thank you. I can't wait till you get the arranger on. But we've been kind of just preliminarily just discussing themes and things like that, and it's very interesting to see now where this next set will go down the future, and what we're exactly striving for. We think will definitely intrigue people when we get there as well. Jennifer is very good at writing evocative lyrics, and I'm not saying it just because I'm biased. I as a lyricist, I genuinely with her as a lyricist, I genuinely can relate and appreciate to the level at which the wordsmithiness of how she writes things and how she thinks them through in a song format. It's definitely an art. Babe. You're welcome, babe. So
speaking of the future,
yes,
you all have a new music video coming out soon, I heard.
Yes. I have a list. I had to actually write all this out. I have a list of things. So
it might just be about the music video.
Yes. We have I guess we can talk about it openly. A good friend of ours and a good friend of many, including Ken's, Dan Milligan of the Joy Thieves, did a remix. He did a remix of Into the Sun. It is amazeballs. And
no surprise.
Yeah, it's amazing. And hi Dan, we love you. Thank you. He did a remix of our song Into the Sun, and Jennifer is currently putting the finishing touches on the video. Jennifer handles, with the exception of one video, handles all of our visual media. She is amazing, and she's putting the finishing touches on that, and that will actually premiere March 30th at 2 p.m. Pacific time, so 5 p.m. Eastern time on eMpTyVeeTV. eMpTyVeeTV, excuse me. Yes.
Yeah, that's the music video channel started by like DJ Adambomb and friends, right?
Yes.
Hi, Adambomb.
I'll make sure to put that on the YouTube. I'll put a link to that. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, we'll also be hosting that as well too. So
New Music Wednesday.
Yeah,
Dope.
New Music. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
hey,
very excited.
And guess who's in the chat just now? There's DJ Adambomb.
Yay! Hi!
Welcome. I've played his music before and talked about his stuff, but this is the first time he's in chat. So thanks, Adam, for joining us.
That's wonderful.
Awesome.
We greatly appreciate eMpTyVeeTV for everything they've done for us as well, for being a supporter of us too. We love you guys. Thank you.
Yes.
So
such a great channel.
He's such a great channel.
And DJ D42 putting in the event lingo in the chat.
Thank you.
Yep, the event link in the chat. So excellent.
Yay.
And I'll add that to the YouTube video once I post that.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
So you've got the music video showing up, and also you're finally returning to the live scenes.
Yes.
I saw you're playing with Ashes Fallen.
Yes. So we actually have two shows. We have one show right before that, April 21st at the Hayward Bistro in Hayward with Screaming Creatures and Mercury's Butterfly. I think that is a Thursday night at 7 p.m. And then said show with Ashes Fallen, April 29th at the Caravan in San Jose with Kali Ra and DJ C Death as well.
Awesome. So
our last the week the pandemic hit, that the lockdowns happened, we were supposed to have a show at the Uptown. And that was going to be in Oakland, and that was going to be our first big. We played the Uptown before, but this was going to be our big kind of debut.
Yeah, Caroline Blind was going to be playing with us,
and Kali Ra
as well. Yeah, it was a pretty stacked lineup, and then everything just, like I said, the world just stopped completely.
So we're excited to be back, and we've been heavily in rehearsals because we do live looping. It's not something that we can just kind of wing.
It's been a brutal like 2 months actually. Like we had to really these new songs are a lot more mature. Like the from Shadows in the Shape of Men, that was kind of the blueprint for what would become our first album was the blueprint for what would become Into the Sun. And there was, in our minds, once we heard it all together, we could tell there was such a massive leap in how we did things. And we want the live show especially to reflect that when we hit the stage. So we are going to bring our A++ game as hard as we can.
So you've mentioned that you write all of your music so that it can be performed live the same way that you hear it on the recording.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you find changes with a live performance? Is there an intensity or a different set of emotions that come from actually seeing you perform this music?
May I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So from a non-vocal standpoint, I mentioned earlier a lot of bands that I love, like Swerve Driver, things like that. It doesn't always come across well in recording, but there's a wall of sound. Once we get all our layers going and everything, it's that really harkens back to that late 80s, early 90s kind of wall of sound effect. It's something I'm really, really big in, and you can feel the air push from it. At least I can when I'm on stage and when we rehearse here too. And I think a lot of people, it doesn't translate 100% via recording, at least not yet for us. I've still yet to find the right placement for everything to get it 100%. But I think that'll be genuinely surprising to people. From the vocal standpoint, I don't do any effects in Pro Tools when we record. All of those are through my vocal pedals that go into the mix. So everything, all the effects that I have are what you hear, but there's something about, I feel like I'm a better vocalist live. Yeah, I would.
Like, and 100%, that's agree. Because of a connection with the audience. Like I really, one of the things I really thrive on is being able to see people and engagement. Speak to them and like tell you my story.
Yeah.
And there's something that you can't, I feel like it comes across a lot better in a live environment.
Right. And we're both performers in particular. Yeah. Like I've always said, sorry, I don't really generally like to talk bad about other musicians. I'm kind of like avoid that, but I'll never forget seeing Oasis live in the 90s. And it was it was a very boring show. The music was great. They're all serious, all
or like
really
Nora
great
Jones.
players. Yeah, great players, but there's an aspect of entertainment. We're very physical performers. We're very engaging with what we do because we feed off you, you feed off us. That live connection is a very huge thing, and it only really, like I said, very few recordings have ever actually captured that. It's just, it's tough to capture something that's, palpable. Only
I just think that we sound better live because
we
of the live experience. And I also get very inspired by, I've seen Tori Amos a number of times. And if you've never seen her live, she's absolutely electric on stage.
Yeah, she really is.
So she's got like two different pianos and she's going back and forth between them. And it's just like, and like at a certain point she's in her own world, but she's also like, it's just like,
it's the given
and
release.
That's what we try to bring.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it makes me really sad I'm not going to be anywhere near either of those shows.
Well, a good, in future, as we're both exiting parenthood, I'm just about to exit parenting for my son. He's going to be an adult. Crazy to think.
He's graduating high school.
Yes, touring is going to become a thing finally for us. I children first. Had to take care of all that stuff. Being a single parent at the time, was I had a lot of responsibilities and needed to set a good example. But now that my son's about to graduate, we are definitely going to start looking into getting out on the road, getting places, figuring all the logistics behind it. So, hopefully it won't be that long before we'll end up on your doorstep.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the goal.
I can't. So if you're gonna play my house, I can't guarantee a lot of people will be there, but everyone who shows up will be enthusiastic as hell. All right.
That's wonderful. I've
Perfect.
played shows with 3 people. I've played shows with 300 people. It doesn't same. Give it 110% either way.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been going at this for about 45 minutes now, but I didn't want to let you go. I definitely wanted to mention the live shows and the music video, but I also understand, Jennifer, that you put together the first person that had ever done this, and so I wanted to give you a chance to showcase it. You put together 5 fun facts to share.
I have fun facts. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you about this. So
I didn't forget.
Oh my God. I got a little manic today, and I was like, I need to have material. I need to have things. I was like, ooh, I'll come up with 5 fun facts. And now I'm realizing I did this too. I said to my son, like it was about a year ago, and I said so something about fun fact, whatever I said. And then he's like, fun fact, nobody likes your fun facts.
Oh.
And I was like,
teenagers, man, they're brutal.
So
vicious.
I know. So that's because I had them down. So one is I actually can't hear out of this ear. This is all reconstructed from my rib bones.
Oh.
It was born with no cartilage. And
wait,
so
so did you name that ear Eve then?
My Eve?
Yeah, because it was constructed out of your rib.
Oh no! I never made that connection before. That's awesome. But I do have an implant, so I can plug. I have a cochlear implant, so I can.
She is cyberpunk.
I can basically stream right into my brain.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Technology
exactly.
is awesome.
Okay, so that's just one.
Okay.
So
hot damn, let's go. I'm here.
Number 2, my first TV appearance was on MTV. Downtown Julie Brown visited the Northern California Renaissance Fair, and I was and I was a water woman, and we would do this bit where we would take our water jugs and we would spit into we'd put a dish in the road, and then we'd see if we'd get it, and then we'd we wouldn't tell people. Would walk by, and then they'd feel this water, and they'd be like, oh God. So it was a great bit. We just sit there and spit water. I got really good at spitting water really far away. And Downtown Julie Brown came in and sat on the hay bales and then took the water, and she kind of went, and we were like, well, that's not impressive. But it ended up being on TV.
No one flits like Jen Wilde. No one twits like Jen Wilde. No, in a spitting contest, no one spits like Jen Wilde.
Oh my God.
I'm especially good at expectorating. All right, that's 2.
Yeah, that's 2.
3, I sing with the Oakland Symphony Chorus.
Yes.
All right.
So I've actually sang on the stage of the Paramount Theater in Oakland, and
multiple times.
Shared the stage with the late and dearly departed Michael Morgan, who's an amazing conductor, and so we have shows throughout the year, and have been like tagged into recording, stuff for them. That was 3.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another one. I can bend my thumb all the way back.
Oh, I can do that too. I'm double jointed in my left thumb. It's only my left thumb.
I can't do that.
That's 4.
My friends called that the hook shot.
Oh.
And number 5, I was on Mythbusters.
Yes.
Really?
And actually, on camera. They had, and I can't remember what the episode was. I think it was like a Battle of the Sexes kind of thing.
Yes, it was. It
was one of their Battle of the Sexes, and I actually, at the time, I had pigtails, and I was wearing like purple pants and purple like tight pants and a black shirt, and the producer was like, "You have a real Carrie Byron vibe," and so I actually got on camera and was on the episode.
Yes.
So there you go. Those are my 5 fun facts.
Okay, so no matter what your son says, your facts were very fun.
Thank you.
Somebody
likes my fun facts.
Are you kidding me? I got to make a Beauty and the Beast reference. My day is made.
Yeah, that is literally one of my favorite Disney movies. So I'm biased. So
there we go.
Well, he's kind of like Gaston.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, not in a bad way.
Oh,
Okay, I was going to say, whoa.
No. You're right. He's strong like Gaston. That's about it. You're right. It's nothing like him except the
So I guess if I have to make some quick facts.
Okay, what's your fun facts?
I'm a
to
bodybuilder,
five.
powerlifter.
Wow.
So that's one thing. I'm also a judo competitor. So
Okay, so don't fuck with sword tongue. Got it.
no, I am literally a big teddy bear. It's just I just no, not like that. Let's see here. I am a extremely avid video gamer. My whole life, I worked for Sony Computer Entertainment and have tested probably most of the games most people have played on the PlayStation.
Well, I am loving if you play tested the latest Forbidden West. I am loving the shit out of it.
Damn it, Forbidden is awesome. I was not that. I had left a long time ago.
Okay.
Parappa the Rappa, Spyro the Dragon.
Okay, so like the old school PlayStation stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
When he was in like middle school, right?
Yeah, I was in middle. I have a knack for video games. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just good at everything I do in regards to those. And
Jealous.
yeah,
Nice.
I'm even wearing a video game shirt right now because I'm a big old dork. But
I am also wearing a video game shirt.
yes,
I-
I appreciate this.
I'm wearing my Papyrus from Undertale shirt with an N7 banner behind me. Everyone watching can see it, but you can't. So
they could probably see this. This is a great series called Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
Series. So this is Nocturne, the game for the PlayStation 2.
there you go, Twitch. We officially we're about video games now. All right.
There it is.
Yes.
See, we've joined. You know, if you can't, you know, you don't want to fight them, but join them. And I guess what would
Two more. I know two. You should tell.
you go for it?
One is the shirt you were wearing when your son was born, and then the other one was when we used to do Twitch.
Okay, so my very first band was Blame It on the Sex. When my son's mother called me at 2 a.m. saying, "Oh, my water broke, come to the hospital," and so I literally ran down my street to the hospital because I just lived close to it. I didn't realize the shirt I was wearing at the moment, and you know I'm panicky as a 20-year-old. I'm sure you already know where this is going. I was panicky as a 20-year-old, or any parent, soon-to-be parent would be, and I'm in the room and. You know, chaos, blah, 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 blah. And this nurse just looks at me and starts laughing. And I'm like, she's like, honey, you need to go walk down the hall and sell that shirt to every expecting dad. And like my face must have turned pale white because I was literally wearing a shirt that just said, blame it on the sex across it. And my son's mother was like,
Really?
Nice, Gaetano, real nice. And that was my first mistake right there that day. And then the other one,
I'm crying.
Yeah, we deeply love the Monster Hunter series, and we had a Twitch show for an extremely long time and had a very, very dedicated group of people that would come and hunt with us called the Meowster Hour. We love cats, and it's still there. You know, at some point we'll resurrect it, but we do the Twitch online.
You said doo-doo.
Huh? Yes, doo-doo.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Yeah.
Wah wah. So there we go. 5 fun facts.
There you go.
Okay. This is the most I have ever laughed during an interview. And I'm not just talking about Subculture Talk. I'm talking about back when I was hosting a radio show for 7 years. Nice. I would do a bunch of interviews there. This is the most I have ever laughed. Thank you.
Thank you. No, this is great.
Ready? High five.
There's a lot of high-fiving in this relationship.
Good. So. That's the way it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. We just, we love to be ourselves. And that's, for people who do listen to us, we are goofballs.
Yeah. It's all part of it. It's all, it's the spectrum, right? It's we're deadly serious. Don't get us wrong. Like we're deadly serious, and then there's moments like this.
Yeah. If you don't ever be afraid. If you see us live, don't ever be afraid to walk up to us and say hi. Because we love to talk. We love to mix it up. It's just that's who we are. We're very approachable. Please come say hi to us. Please. So
Jennifer, Gaetano, this has been an absolute pleasure. Tk you very much.
Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it, and we appreciate. You did the thing.
What? What did I do?
Remember the story we had beforehand about the your name?
Yeah.
Yeah, you caught it too?
Yeah. You did not call me Pat just now.
What did I say? Oh my God! Did I call you Ken?
You know what?
Sorry to put you on the spot there. I had to. See?
You know what?
Damn!
You know what?
Oh man! No.
If you were
take
referring
Pat.
to me, if you were referring to me as Ken Magerman from Sounds and Shadows, I will take that as the utmost fucking compliment. So thank you.
Okay, good, because I feel really bad right now, Pat.
No, it's
Jesus
okay.
Christ.
It's okay.
Yeah, we
Pat, you're amazing.
love
We love you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for being a supporter for us. We so greatly appreciate it.
Oh, anytime you guys want to send me music, you know I'm going to play it. So for those of you watching live, up next is going to be the after party Beat Match Mix show. For those of you watching on YouTube, go check out Sword Tongue videos. You're right there on YouTube. They exist on YouTube. There's probably a link in the comments. Go do it. All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you. Have a great night.
We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Everything is fine until it's not.